My name is Jason Waite, and I'm the president of the New West Pride Society. Before we begin, we must recognize that our celebration today is taking place on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Kakite First Nation and Coast Salish people. We are grateful and thankful for being here today. Many things have changed this year. Communities across the globe have had to pivot and re-examine how they operate in response to drastic changes and novel situations. Our LGBTQ2S+ community is no different. A season which is usually full of celebrations, protests, memories, and coming together looks drastically different this year. Pride has never just been an event or a weekend on the calendar. It is and has always been a way of being without fear or judgment. It is the energy that fuels our community, enables the creativity of our friends and loved ones, and drives the march of progress that we continue to walk. This year in particular, as we raise this rainbow flag, I want to make the specific point that at its inception, the flag was designed to represent the diversity of our community. Yet still there are members of our community that have been and continue to be consistently left out, left behind, and even actively discriminated against. This must change. As an organization that does its work on colonized land, we must do better to engage all people. We continue the work to learn, unlearn, and create better spaces for everyone. Please join me in raising this flag in the spirit of heralding a better sense of togetherness and a commitment to accountability and progress. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Doris Ma on behalf of Peter Julian.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Doris Ma. I'm here to represent MP Peter Julian for New Westminster Burnaby. Peter cannot be here today, but he has given me a message to share with you all. Dear friends, thank you everyone for being here today. I would like to recognize and acknowledge the Kakite First Nation, as well as all Coast Salish peoples on whose traditional unceded territories we live, we learn, we play, and we work. I'm very sorry that I'm not able to attend this very important event today because I'll be speaking at noon on Zoom with our National NDP caucus. I'm sorry about this, as I believe this is one of the few times I have missed the New Westminster Pride flag raising ceremony. This year's Pride celebration is quite different from previous years due to the pandemic. I certainly hope that you and your loved ones are keeping safe and healthy from this deadly virus. But there is another virus that is even more destructive. There has been a growth in homophobia and transphobia. And that's why it is more important than ever that we speak out for the inherent right of every person to love who they want and be who they are. I want to thank all the terrific members and volunteers of the New West Pride Society for hosting this event. This year, we cannot have 40,000 people on streets of downtown New Westminster as we had in previous years. But not gathering in big groups cannot diminish our voices raised against homophobia and transphobia. In fact, more than ever, we need to be even louder and stand up on the rights and safety of the LGBTQ2S+ members in our community. We need to raise our voices. We need to raise our flags. We need to make sure any attack on the community, any examples of homophobia and transphobia, we must denounce with the strongest possible condemnation. On behalf of the Parliament of Canada, Happy Pride, New Westminster, your MP, Peter Julian. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this proclamation and flag raising. I'm Patrick Johnstone. I'm the acting mayor of New Westminster right now, and I want to acknowledge the members of the community, the members of the Pride executive that are here today, and my council colleague, Nadine Nakagawa. It's a beautiful day to raise a flag. I think we need a beautiful day. We need more beautiful days in 2020 than in other years, and we need a joyful pride more than perhaps we needed it in previous years. I know that many in the community are disappointed that we aren't going to be able to have the big street festival and some of the other parties that make Pride Week the highlight of the summer for so many here in New Westminster. But I do want to acknowledge that the New West Pride Society has done a great work putting together a series of, I think, physically distanced, not socially distanced programs that can still remind us that this is Pride Week. That we can still celebrate Pride and remind us what Pride is really about community, about diversity, and about love. I also want to acknowledge that we are doing this during another struggle that's going on, especially here in North America, where there are ongoing protests that are being led by the Black Lives Matter movement. I think as we celebrate Pride, as we celebrate it so openly and so joyfully here in New Westminster and in Canada, we sometimes we get lulled into thinking that the struggle for equity and equality and rights is one. It isn't one, it is an ongoing fight. Until Black people in our community, until Indigenous people in our community, until everyone in our community is safe and has equal access to basic human rights, the spirit of Pride will still have to include not just the party, but the fight. And the fight goes on. So thank you to New Westminster Pride, to your society for your leadership in our community, for your ongoing volunteer efforts at a time I know when you're all concerned about your own lives, your own families, your own health, your own community, that you're actually putting your time and energy into bringing the spirit of Pride to New Westminster. So on behalf of the City of New Westminster and Mayor and Council, I want to wish everyone a happy Pride Week, and I want to read the proclamation. Whereas all individuals seek recognition and respect for their human and civil rights, which are accorded to citizens in a free and democratic society, regardless of race, culture, creed, sexual orientation, or gender identity. And whereas the City of New Westminster is a city respecting ethnicity and diversity, and has benefited socially, economically, and culturally from all of its residents. And whereas the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, and two-spirited people in the City of New Westminster have come together to celebrate their uniqueness as individuals, as well as their shared goals and achievements. And whereas the City of New Westminster's 11th annual Pride kicked off this week with activities for the entire community. And whereas the aim of Pride Week is to promote education in diversity, equality, trust, understanding, and a means for the LGBTQ+ community to connect for the good of all. Now I, Patrick Johnstone, acting mayor, and on behalf of Jonathan Cote, the mayor, and all of Council of New Westminster, hereby proclaim August 8th to 15th, 2020 as Pride Week in the City of New Westminster, British Columbia. Now let's raise the flag. Thank you.